The morning sun cast a warm glow over the small suburban town as Henry Collins, a retired schoolteacher in his late 70s, adjusted his worn-out hat and stepped off the bus. His hands trembled slightly as he clutched the envelope filled with his savings, money he had carefully set aside to buy himself a reliable used car. For years, Henry had relied on public transportation, but his aching knees and slowing pace made it harder for him to get around. This car was more than a purchase. It was independence, dignity, and freedom. Henry had done his homework the best he could, clipping ads from the local paper, circling prices, and highlighting phrases like low mileage and certified used. He finally decided on Bright Motors, a dealership with flashy billboards promising honest deals, family values. The name itself gave him comfort. After all, Henry had always believed in taking people at their word. Walking into the dealership, Henry was greeted by the gleaming rows of shiny cars under the fluorescent lights. Salesmen in crisp suits moved about with the speed and energy of sharks circling prey. One of them, a slick young man with an overconfident smile named Travis, quickly spotted Henry. "Morning, sir, looking for something reliable, safe, and affordable," Travis said, shaking Henry's hand with just a bit too much force. Henry nodded with a hopeful smile. "Yes, just something simple. I don't need much, just a car that will get me to the grocery store, church, and my doctor's appointments." Travis's eyes flickered toward the envelope peeking from Henry's pocket. He masked his greed with charm. "Well, you've come to the right place. Let's find you the perfect car." What Henry didn't know was that this dealership thrived on targeting the vulnerable, old men like him. Travis led Henry across the lot, past the reasonably priced cars, straight toward an older model sedan with a shiny wax job. The paint gleamed under the sun, but beneath the surface, the car was riddled with problems. A failing transmission, worn-out brakes, and an odometer that had been rolled back. "This beauty right here," Travis said, slapping the hood like it was gold, was owned by a little old lady who barely drove it. "Only 25,000 miles, perfect for you." Henry's eyes softened. It looked nice enough and he trusted Travis's enthusiasm. Still, he hesitated. "It seems a little expensive. Are you sure it's reliable?" Travis chuckled. "Mr. Collins, I wouldn't put you in anything unsafe. And you know what? Because you seem like a good man, I'll even throw in an extended warranty for just a few hundred extra. You won't find a better deal anywhere else." Henry thought about the envelope in his pocket. It was almost his entire savings, but he convinced himself this car would last him the rest of his life. With a trembling hand, he pulled out the money. At the office desk, Henry signed papers he didn't fully understand, contracts riddled with fine print, hidden fees, and inflated prices. When he walked out, the envelope was empty, replaced with a set of keys that felt heavier than they should. The first drive home should have been joyous, but just a few blocks away, the car began to sputter. The steering pulled, the engine coughed, and Henry's heart sank. By the time he pulled into his driveway, smoke leaked from under the hood. Inside his modest home, Henry sat at the kitchen table, staring at the keys. He felt humiliated, betrayed, and foolish for trusting strangers. What the dealership didn't know was that Henry's grandson, Jason Collins, a decorated Navy SEAL, was flying home that very evening. That evening, Henry's small house lit up with warmth as Jason Collins stepped through the door. Tall, broad-shouldered, with sharp eyes that had seen battlefields across the world, Jason was the pride of the Collins family. Despite his tough exterior, he softened immediately when he hugged his grandfather. "Grandpa," Jason said, grinning, "I finally got some leave. I can't wait to spend some time with you." Henry tried to smile, but his face betrayed the weight of the day. Jason noticed immediately. "What's wrong?" he asked, his tone firm but caring. With a heavy sigh, Henry explained everything: the dealership, the salesman's promises, the envelope of savings, and how the car broke down almost as soon as he drove it home. He handed Jason the keys, his voice cracking. "I just wanted to be independent again. Instead, I feel like a fool." Jason's jaw tightened. His years of training had taught him to remain calm in chaos, but nothing boiled his blood faster than seeing someone take advantage of his family. He inspected the car himself, and within minutes he confirmed the truth. It was a dangerous heap dressed up to look decent. "Grandpa," Jason said, his voice low and steady, "they didn't just scam you, they disrespected you, and that I cannot let slide." Henry's eyes widened. "Jason, don't do anything reckless." Jason placed a reassuring hand on his grandfather's shoulder. "Don't worry, I don't do reckless, I do precise, and tomorrow we're going back to that dealership." Henry nodded slowly, a mix of relief and apprehension in his eyes. He knew Jason wasn't just an ordinary grandson, he was a Navy SEAL, trained to handle liars, cheaters, and worse. The dealership had no idea what was coming. The next morning, Jason drove the faulty sedan back to Bright Motors with Henry in the passenger seat. The car sputtered and rattled so loudly that heads turned as they pulled into the lot. Jason stepped out calmly, his posture commanding respect without him saying a word. Henry followed, clutching his cane, nervous but trusting his grandson. Inside the showroom, Travis was already working another customer when he spotted Henry. His smirk widened. "Mr. Collins, back so soon, how's that beauty running?" Jason cut in, his voice deep and controlled. "Like garbage, you sold my grandfather a death trap." Travis's smile faltered, but he quickly tried to recover. "Now, sir, I'm sure there's just a small issue, nothing we can't." Jason slammed the keys on the desk. The sound echoed through the room, silencing the chatter of other salesmen. "Don't lie to me. I've seen combat zones, and I can smell deceit just as easily. You rolled back the odometer, slapped on wax, and sold him junk at double the price." Travis stuttered, but Jason leaned closer, his stare piercing. "You scammed the wrong man. That's my grandfather. And I don't care if I have to call the Better Business Bureau, the state attorney, or the local news. I will make sure this place goes down." Other customers began whispering, watching the scene unfold. Some even pulled out their phones to record. Travis's manager rushed over, sweating nervously. Let's calm down. Maybe we can work something out." Jason's voice dropped lower. "You'll refund every penny, today, or I'll make sure this dealership's name is plastered all over the internet as a den of thieves. Trust me. I've handled bigger enemies than you." The tension in the room was thick. The sharks had finally met someone they couldn't prey on. The dealership went silent, all eyes fixed on Jason. The manager swallowed hard, glancing at the growing crowd of customers watching. Phones were recording every word, every glare, every bead of sweat sliding down his temple. All right, the manager stammered, raising his hands as if surrendering. "No need to make a scene. We'll issue a full refund, plus a replacement vehicle, no extra charge." Jason's gaze didn't waver. "A refund, in cash, today, and my grandfather walks out of here with something safe, reliable, and fairly priced. Otherwise, you'll be dealing with more than just me." Travis opened his mouth to argue, but one sharp look from Jason froze him in place. The salesman shifted uncomfortably, his cocky grin completely gone. The crowd murmured in approval. Many of them had probably been victims of similar tactics. Reluctantly, the manager motioned toward his office. Within minutes, Henry had his entire envelope of money back in his hands. Jason inspected the papers this time, ensuring there were no tricks or hidden traps. Finally, Jason pointed at a modest, well-kept sedan parked near the back. "That one, reliable, clean, priced right. My grandfather leaves with that car and we'll consider the matter closed." The manager nodded quickly, eager to be rid of them. Travis muttered something under his breath, but Jason's sharp eyes cut him down instantly. As Henry settled into the driver's seat of his new car, he turned to his grandson with watery eyes. "Jason, I don't know what I would have done without you." Jason smiled softly, placing a hand on his grandfather's shoulder. "Grandpa, you've spent your whole life protecting me. It's my turn to protect you." The two drove away, the dealership shrinking in the rearview mirror, its shiny signs now symbols of hollow promises. Henry no longer felt humiliated. He felt proud, not only of his car but of the young man who stood by him. And for Bright Motors, word of the confrontation spread quickly online. Their reputation was shattered. The sharks who once thrived on the weak learned the hard way: never underestimate family, especially when that family includes a Navy SEAL.